Okay, so thank you first for coming today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and to hear what I have to say. I have been so welcome since coming to Entrada from Intermountain Healthcare. In fact, the last time we had an Enrichment night, I was actually here for that, but I was here as an Intermountain employee. I came with my colleagues, and I remember the first time, coming into the clubhouse and coming down the stairs and looking out these beautiful windows of this beautiful red rock scenery and just being like, man, you must never get tired of this view and the beauty of this community. But then since being here and being able to kind of know the historical context and get to meet all the great members of the club, the ones that were comfortable to come visit me during a time when it was a lot of uncertainty, right? To get hired on in August of 2020, and everyone say, Kevin, it's much different than it is right now, but you'll see, everyone's going to eventually come back. I'm like, okay, that's good. But it was actually a good thing because it really allowed us to not, well, at least for me, to not get drowned in just the operational side, but to really kind of look at a 30,000-foot view of the center and its operations, and really ask the question, why are we doing what we're doing? And if we don't really have a good answer for it, then let's see if we can do some things differently. And so I got hired on as a mover and a shaker. I would have took this job if it was, hey, Kevin, we just need you to be here and to hold down the fort. Okay? What piqued my interest from leaving a position that was very comfortable, I could do with my eyes closed. It was, I go to work, I come home, I don't think about work, to a position that's very demanding, that has lots of input and suggestions, and there's a lot of fires to be put out. What really made it worth it to me is the future opportunity and the amazing potential that the Entrada at Snow Canyon Country Club has, and the now formerly known Entrada Sports and Fitness Center, which is now the Entrada Wellness Center. And so we'll kind of dive in a little bit of why we made that change and what is the rationale, and so what is the big picture. So basically, as Diane alluded to, the only reason why I'm showing this slide is not to tout my pedigree. It's just to show, and I look at a lot of husbands here, I too totally married someone completely out of my league, okay? And so, so I have a beautiful wife, 4 beautiful children, and we love it here. When we first moved to St. George, we had no kids. Now we have 4, so I don't know if it's something in the water, but I'm so happy to be here. But when we look at kind of the format for tonight, really it kind of boils down to this. I have a short presentation that I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of look at the kind of the broad view of the Wellness Center and its services and why it matters. And then most of the time it's going to be Q&A so that you have the opportunity to ask the questions that you want so it's relevant to you. I feel like it's a better gauge to try to make the evening more entertaining. And even though it kind of puts me in an uncomfortable position, I totally dig it because that's what I love to do. I like the spontaneity of knowing, okay, what's going to come out of this person's mouth, and you wondering, okay, what's going to come out of my mouth right after, because these are totally unfiltered. We didn't have people submit questions beforehand, so I could just have softball questions for 30 minutes. So I'm looking forward to it. So does that sound like a plan? Are we ready to rock and roll? Okay, thank you. So when we look at wellness, we might think of the phrase, hope you get well or get well soon. We kind of look at wellness as just being a state of without disease or without sickness. But for tonight's kind of presentation, we're looking at wellness as a actively sought after objective, okay? And so you always have to look at wellness that is a big umbrella with lots of things that can fall under it. But the way I like to kind of describe it is wellness is like a health bank account, and everyday behaviors that you do are either putting a deposit into that health bank account or it's making a withdrawal from that health bank account. So one of the rationales for changing the facility name to the Entrada Wellness Center is we want it to be a healthy bank account, that everything that you do, every service that we offer to enhance the member experience is allowing you to make a deposit into your healthy bank account. So that way, you have a big reserve, and you can do some other fun stuff outside the wellness center that maybe would be considered a withdrawal from that bank account. Okay? That makes sense? Sorry I have to keep on walking back and forth to change my slides, but there's lots of factors that play into your overall wellness and well-being, as well as lowering your risk for certain chronic diseases and having a high quality of life and longevity. So as you're looking at this slide right here, all these points, they matter. They play a part in that puzzle. But what we're going to be discussing quickly tonight is just these 4 areas, because these are the 4 main evidence-based areas that you have a say in on how to influence on a daily basis. Okay? That is going to be your sleep quality, how you manage your stress, your daily movement, physical activity, exercise, however you want to term it. And then last but not least is going to be nutrition, how you fuel your body, what you put into your body. Okay? So influence number 1, sleep quality. You don't know how much sleep matters to you until you are not getting enough of it, right? But one thing that we do know, and let me kind of preface a little bit on this particular bullet point, that if you are experiencing some type of a sleep disorder, what I'm going to be suggesting to you will not be relevant to you, okay? This is if you are having sleep quality issues because you have the inability to kind of calm the chatter of your brain, okay? How many of you, you might go to bed at a certain time, but you're actually not sleeping for that long, and your REM sleep and your levels of sleep isn't really that great. And so when you wake up the next morning, you really don't feel that much more invigorated or restful or have as much energy as you did when you went to bed the night before, okay? So if this becomes a chronic issue, it will increase your cortisol levels. It will cause a reduction in growth hormones, so it's going to affect your metabolism. It's going to affect your ability to manage the constant stresses and things coming at you from every different angle. And so to make a kind of summarize point, if someone is dealing with weight management issues, that's really one of the biggest key points that chronic sleep deprivation can play a role in. For my master's degree, that's what my thesis was in chronic sleep deprivation and its relationship to weight management. We've always known that sleep was a major puzzle piece in the kind of health equation, but what the research is really coming out right now is sleep is a much bigger puzzle piece than previously anticipated. Okay? So that's the issue. How can the Entrada Wellness Center help you in this particular area? Here's some services that you can participate in right now. So we offer on Monday evenings at 5 o'clock with Darcy Miller a guided meditation class. And in the beginning, when that class started, there was a lot of hesitancy of, okay, what exactly is this? What are they doing? But Darcy right now is really starting to kind of get a following, getting a consistency. People that probably went in not knowing exactly what that class is and what it entails, but it's really the ability to kind of control your thoughts and calm the chatter of your brain and be present and being in the moment, okay? And now that we are expanding our class capacities, anywhere from 10 to 12 participants, depending upon the class format and what it entails, we're going to be able to accommodate more people. All you have to do is just make a reservation and know that you have a spot in line and show up, okay? But it's a great resource to have. Also, in addition to guided meditation, there's also a moving meditation, which is basically what yoga is. Yoga has, many times is kind of termed as a moving meditation. It's meditation using lots of different systems of the body, and we offer yoga classes throughout the week. And we have phenomenal instructors, instructors that are in high demand at multiple facilities, and they're here for a reason because they love it here and they love our members, and we want to make sure that we keep them busy, and we love when they teach full classes. So if you haven't taken a yoga class from either Ian or Margaret or Sadie, Some of them are offered indoors. Some of them are offered outside. Please take that opportunity and get moving, because it will help your ability to sleep. It's evidence-based. Okay, and then last but not least, it's going to be exercise in general. Exercise has been shown to improve sleep quality, especially if it's done consistently throughout the course of a month. And we'll talk about exercise habits a little bit later. Okay, so let's move on to our next one, and that is stress management. I love this quote because sometimes we look at stress management as being, I just need to take stress out of my life. Taking stress out of your life is like standing on the bank of a river and being like, I'll cross the river when the water stops. It's probably never going to happen. Even, whether it be you're a retiree or you're still working or whatever, there's always going to be different things that are going to be pulling at your attention that's going to be taking demands on your time and your energy, and how do you carry that load? Because as Lou Holt says, it's not the load that's breaking you, it's the way that you're carrying it, okay? And there's a lot of different symptoms of, and it's different for everyone when they're overwhelmed and they're overstressed, of how that stress manifests itself in that particular individual. But what can the Entrada Wellness Center do for you to help you in this particular area? And that is, number one, I would say, book a spa appointment, okay? We have people that have done massage at other facilities all over the country, and we get the best feedback from our massage therapists as well as our estheticians. This is my only stock photo that I had to use because we really don't have a great photo that shows our spa facility, because our spa facility is basically kind of a dark hallway and 3 treatment rooms. 2 of them are used for massage or facials, and then just 1 room for manicures and pedicures. So the goal is to hopefully have a space and a facility that matches the quality and expertise of our therapists. Because once a client goes in and has the experience of working with our staff, they love it. But we want to make sure that we're, from top to bottom, beginning to end, that we're providing the best experience possible for our members. Joining one of the many active communities and groups that we currently offer. Obviously, pickleball is a major contributor to that human connection, and we have a thriving pickleball club thanks to many of you that were here, but I'd also give a plug. Mr. Tony LeBron is the man, so he should get a hand clap. And because growing so fast, maybe he doesn't want me to make a plug. But anyways, it's a fun sport, but so is tennis. We also have a cycling group. In fact, they are going to be meeting on Wednesday, May the 5th at 8:30, as well as a hiking group that's going to be meeting, doing the petrified sand dune hike a week from yesterday on April the 28th. So these are things that are happening all the time that we're trying to get off the ground and get more engagement, because once again, from a stress management standpoint, if 2020 did not teach us anything, it taught us this: we need human connection. I said, the turnout that we've had for this event, I have no idea if it's because of what we're talking about. Personally, I think it's because everyone's been hunkered down for so long. I could be talking about the 4 stages of paint drying, and you guys would be like, let's go to it, honey. It's going to be great, So, human connection, vital. And then also utilizing the time at the pool, or just being out on that back side of the property, looking at that fountain. I mean, stress management doesn't always have to be grandiose things. It can be small things too, because those small things matter, okay? All right, influence or strategy number 4. I have to make sure that I don't go too long on this one, because this is in my wheelhouse, and that's going to be physical activity. So as an exercise physiologist, and looking at, in terms of physical activity and exercise, your body, it craves movement. And so just to kind of illustrate, I want everyone to stand up right now. Okay, everyone just stand up. Okay, we're just going to do a little simple exercise. Let your arms hang down, shake it off a little bit. You're going to roll your shoulders back. Okay, just roll your shoulders back. I promise you I'm not going to make you turn to your partner and do anything. It's not. Roll your shoulders back. Okay, bring your hands together. Just reach forward. Okay? And then just bring your hands back. Open up your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Okay, let those arms hang, shake it off, roll your shoulders just a couple more times. Okay, have a seat. Okay, we just did a little experiment. Don't lie to me. But raise your hand if you feel more alert, you feel better just from that little exercise. 1, 2, okay. Okay, so don't make no charity hand raising. I get it. Okay? But that is to illustrate your body is designed to move. It's not designed to be sedentary, okay? And there's adverse consequences when we are sedentary, as noted here in the slide. So, this is the part where people say, well, of course, I know you have services to help improve physical activity and exercise behaviors at the Wellness Center. But I'll be the first one to tell you, as I walk around and I see how people move and how they exercise, there's a lot of dysfunction going on. There's a lot of incorrect movement patterns. Now, and I don't like to come across as a salesman. I let people come to me if they have questions or ways that I can help them. But I would highly recommend, even if you are an avid exerciser and you have kind of built that foundation, it's always good to kind of check in with an exercise professional, not just with myself, but with Julie or Ann Ray, as well as Ian and Miriam. We have phenomenal expertise that are willing to help our members to move correctly and to move in the way that your body is designed to move. But we don't know that unless we have an opportunity to help you. So we can help tweak and adjust things that you're currently doing. Or if you're someone that's like, Kevin, I haven't done anything structured since I was in high school, or if ever, we can kind of start where you're at and help you kind of build something that is sustainable and it's going to meet you where you're currently at, so that you can move more and do so without causing injury or irritating a previous injury before. Okay? We also have on the docket right now 42 weekly classes. Before, as I mentioned, they were capped at 6. We've expanded the capacity, so hopefully in the next few days, if you reserve time in class, you'll see that there's going to be more spots available, so you should be able to get into any class that you want to get into. From aquasize to yoga to TRX to there's a variety of classes that we offer that you won't know until you actually take them of which ones are the best for you. But we have great instructors and instructors that have been here forever. I mean, Miriam has been here since December of 2020. I was a senior in high school when that was happening, right? And so, they say 2000, excuse me, sorry, thank you. December of 2000, yeah. We just hired her back in December, yeah, no, excuse me, thank you for correcting me on that. December of 2000, okay? Anyways, please utilize our amazing staff and our variety of exercise classes that we have on the docket and on our menu of services. Okay? Once again, I'm going to make a plug for pickleball and other racket sports are growing by leaps and bounds. If you need more movement and you don't want to think of it as being structured, you just need to have a ball involved. Pickleball is a great beginner sport. They have introductory classes and instruction sessions all the time. You can get that information from our website as well. And then last but not least, if you're kind of like, Kevin, I don't want to do stuff that involves other people or, that involves timing and scheduling, go for a 30-minute walk. I mean, you look out this window, we live in one of the most beautiful areas in the country, okay? And part of that walking is not only good for your heart and your body, but it's also good for your mind and your psyche. Now, if I had one particular kind of area that I see as a opportunity for improvement, and that is to help in this area of nutrition, okay? You can read the quote for yourself, but we know that what we put into our bodies matters, okay? And the whole realm of the dietetics industry is kind of in a stage of changing and evolution right now, from a education of, hey, eat this, not that mentality, to a, why do you do what you do when you know better? Because most dietitians will tell you, when they meet with clients and with people, they'll say, I know what I need to do, I just don't do it. So it's not so much of a, okay, if I have a garden salad right here and a greasy cheeseburger right here, which one's better for you? We know what we need to be doing, but food is emotional. There's intuitive eating emotionally, and there's all these different things that really matters in terms of helping us to improve our behaviors, and so that we're 80% of the time eating the best that we know how, and 20% of the time living a little and enjoying food the way it's meant to be, right? And helping us to live the healthiest life possible. So here's basically just some quick guidelines. There's nothing earth-shattering here, but what can we do in terms of helping our members? Look, there's the doors. Look at that. That's the only photo from the website that was kind of relevant to nutrition. But a new kind of concept that we're currently offering right now is health coaching. So Ann Ray, previous director of the center, she became a health coach and is offering free consultations. And basically, most people, when they hear the term health coaching, they say, okay, I know what health means. I know what coaching means. I put those two phrases together, and I don't know what that means. And so health coaching basically is using a variety of different techniques to kind of help you get out of your own way from not accomplishing your objectives. And for a lot of people, they know that there's lots of areas to improve on in terms of their food behavior. And so Ann Ray, like I said, is doing free, no obligation 15, 20-minute consultations to kind of explain what her service is as well as what it isn't, and seeing if it's the right fit for you in terms of helping you improve in that particular area of wellness. In addition to that, we'd like to be able to offer lectures, clinics, different nutritional education things, when we have the space to do so, maybe as a future engagement event that we'd love for you to participate in and to learn more about. But one thing that I see when the time is right is having at least the consultation on a contractor basis with a dietitian to help our Entrada community, as well as working with food and beverage to provide healthier options for our members. That, hey, if you're trying to improve eating behavior and improve your eating regimen, that as a community, we're helping you and facilitating a way for you to do that, okay? All righty, so I talked to some friends in the back, and I told them this slide was coming, so here we go. This is one of my heroes. This is Dr. Kenneth Cooper. He just had a 90th birthday back in March. He's one of my mentors that really made me get into preventative health. And he wrote a book called Aerobics in the 60s. I see a lot of people nodding their heads. Now, he's considered the father of aerobics because he was really the first one to kind of use the term aerobics as being doing work with oxygen. And when he, became a physician out of the Air Force and was telling people, in order to improve your life and improve specifically your cardiorespiratory health, you have to stress the heart. You have to stress the lungs. And it was pretty crazy thinking. He was a pioneer because a lot of his colleagues said, listen, if people read your books, if people follow your advice, we're going to have streets full of dead joggers everywhere, right? And then, lo and behold, down the road, here we are. We know that these things are important and that they're good for us, right? But exercise is medicine, but just like medication, if given in the wrong dosages, it can have a negative effect, okay? So, but this kind of quote really summarizes this whole presentation, and that is, it's much easier, okay, to maintain good health through proper exercise, nutrition, and emotional balance than it is to regain it once it is lost. So, regardless of where you're at, Entrada Wellness Center can help you and meet you where you're at. The question is changing the paradigm, changing the mindset of that building just being a shell that houses fitness equipment and massage tables and stuff, and really changing the paradigm to where we are allowing and facilitating and providing a way to improve the lives of the members of our community, both members and guests alike. And so that's the vision that I'm pushing. So at this point, I'm going to open up the floor because I want to hear what you have to say. I want to spend most of the time fielding questions and seeing what your thoughts are. Be totally candid. This is why we're doing this. I totally knew what I was stepping into. And so I'm hoping that you'll take the opportunity to come up to the mic, ask a question, and see what happens. All right. Were we ready to rock and roll? Okay. All righty. And, well, I'm afraid, let me turn this off so that it doesn't. And you know what? If they put this out here, but if you just want to raise your hand, you can do that too. But, because sometimes walking with the mic can make it scarier than what it really is. The first group, I mean, it was just like pew, 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 hands going lower. And I thought this was going to be the group that was going to be one that's going to bust my chops a little bit. So,
Kevin, if someone wants to get a personal session with you, how do you go about that?
So, I'm glad you're asking that question. Did everyone hear the question? So the question was, Kevin, and I'm going to rephrase the question so that the people on the video can hear it. The question was, if someone wants to meet with me, contact me directly. My card's up front. After the presentation's over, you can fill out a slip. I'm offering a free functional fitness assessment. I always do fitness assessments first to kind of get an idea of where the individual is at so that I can make sure that when we're doing training sessions together that we're actually meeting their objectives, not me just assuming this is what they want, but using a variety of different testing, a battery of different tests, assessments. We do a medical history review, have you fill out a health history form, and really kind of figure out from a mechanical movement standpoint, what can we do to help you to move correctly in the way that you're designed to move. But the reason why I'm glad you asked that question, Mr. Larson, is because I am up to my eyeballs in training sessions, but I'm open to doing functional fitness assessments and designing exercise prescriptions and allowing some of our other instructors to work with clients one-on-one. Because, as I mentioned before, we have great instructors, okay? What's happened is, since I've came in, I'm kind of the new shiny object, and so I've been busy out of my mind, and it's not because I'm necessarily better at what I do than the other trainers. It's because, I have an extensive background that they do too, but they're not given the opportunity, I think, to really give them the chance to work with them. So in terms of the functional fitness assessments, I can do those, but right now I'm at the point where I have to start funneling the personal training sessions to other staff members. So just to be open about that. Thank you for the question.
Have the other trainers, are they going to be doing the exact same assessment, beginning assessment that you're doing?
So the question is, are they doing the same assessment as me? No. So I do the assessment. I design the exercise prescription. I have the instructor come to that first to see exactly what I'm doing, and then they work. Now, granted, if all my clients fire me tomorrow, then I'll be like, oh, actually, I'm taking on clients, yeah. But right now, that's just kind of where I'm at because, I have a salary position. My main objective is the operations of the Wellness Center. I want to make sure that I'm doing my due diligence and making sure that the facility is being utilized at its best, but also allowing me to do the clinical side of what my background is and really helping our members on an individual basis as well. Yes, in the back.
Can you speak to the potential for capital improvements to the facility?
I just have to show that this was organic. Yeah, so the question is, can I speak to the potential for capital improvements? I'm going to really sound like a politician. We're going to call them facility enhancements, okay? Because then it's very open-ended. We're not trying to say we're doing this or this or this or that, because the reality is, and I said this to the first group, the number one objective right now is we got to get the golf course done, right? So since being hired on, my objective has been to create buzz, create some positive momentum, and to shove my way to the front of the line that when that golf course is done, we turn the spotlight onto the Wellness Center. And part of that is to set the stage of the name change, highlighting different services, and really seeing, are we maximizing our current resources first? Because if we're not maximizing our current resources, we have no clout, no credibility for bigger things down the road. But I do know that we're really trying to create an opportunity for us to succeed and to basically do this, to create an experience, to create a wow factor that would rival the new golf course in terms of we have a top-notch facility, okay? So to kind of paint a little bit of background on this, because I knew this question was going to go up, I had a great friend that said, if I were you, I would be able to show some numbers, so here we go. So that building was built in 1996. That was the original clubhouse, for those that are newer to Entrada. For a lot of people, they already know this part. And then in 2000, December, is when it became the Sports and Fitness Center. Okay, and at that time, there's roughly about 300 members at that time. Okay, fast forward to 2021, where we're at today, where we're coming up to over 1,000 members. But more or less, that facility has been more or less unchanged. I came in and tried to look at ways to utilize the space better and to maximize what we currently have. But I feel like we're at a point where you can only rearrange the furniture so many times. You know, I have a few other ideas to do in the interim, but we're at the point where if the data is right and if the feedback from the members is that's what they want, then let's have that discussion. But we really can't get into the weeds and the details of that until after the golf course is done, right? But that is in discussions. And to kind of look at, so I didn't put 2020 up there for a reason, because 2020 was a complete crapshoot in terms of utilization. It's an outlier year because of COVID. But looking at 2019, over 42,000 members utilize the facility. Now, granted, those are repeat, visits. But looking at member guests, just over 6,000, and then 14,000. So the space was being used a lot during pre-COVID times. And my guess is, as vaccinations continue to roll out and the protocols continue to decrease, that is going to start to creep up again. It already is. I mean, every day I have a new member or that either said, hey, I just moved here from such and such state. What do you have to offer here? As well as people say, hey, Kevin, I'm so-and-so. I used to come to the facility every day pre-COVID, but I haven't done anything for a year. Now I'm back. Okay, so the utilization is going to increase and to grow. But we have to kind of get to that place where we're gathering utilization numbers, showing that we're giving everyone a voice in terms of what are the needs, what are the wants in terms of a future space, and what does that look like? Is it a renovation? Is it something beyond that? I don't know. But my intention is to channel our ideas to a cohesive vision that is unified, and giving everyone the opportunity to be a part of a focus group, surveys, whatever the case may be, so that when we do it, whatever that timeline looks like, because I don't know when, but that, because you only get one chance to do it, but when it does happen, that we do it right and I feel like we're doing with myself and our amazing wellness committee, many of the members that are here right now, and our board of trustees. I think, when the time's ready, we're going to do it right, and we're doing that right now. Great question. Does that answer your question to some degree? I know I'm being vague, but it's a little bit on purpose.
Well, sort of. I just heard some rumors floating around about a two-story facility out in the grass.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different concepts that are being kind of thrown out there. But like I said, I think we'll start getting into specifics in terms of the membership-based knowing once, okay, golf course is done, we have a flood of people that are coming in, we have a renowned golf facility. Now we want to see our other amenities be up to par with this new course that's coming down the pike. So I'm just trying our best not to, I'll just put it this way. I'm not going to overpromise and underdeliver. I'd rather underpromise and overdeliver and wow when we're ready to wow. Okay. Any other questions?
I fully agree with you that nutrition is critical.
Uh-huh.
One of my pet peeves with the facilities here is it's hard to find nutritionists and eat meals.
Mm-hmm.
Be consulting with the food service here to see if they can, shall we say, enhance the potential for healthy food in home facilities.
Yeah, absolutely. So the question is a future nutrition arm of wellness, consulting with food and beverage and expanding menu of options? Absolutely. Now, when I say expand menu of options, that doesn't mean taking away the other options. Yeah, and so that's our intention, is for people that are looking for healthier options, that they have the option to pick that, which sometimes can be a little bit scant in our current state. But I hope when the time comes that we can get to that point, and that's my intention.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, there are places that I've been that will have paleo-friendly, vegan-friendly, but, Mark, here I think they might have gluten-free, but that's about it. And it would be nice to have a little bit more information on the quality of the food and the specifics of the food, the options that we have.
Totally agree. So when we get to the point where we have focus groups and we're getting input, please participate in those and give us that feedback. Because if we're not getting feedback from people and we don't know exactly what the members expect, then it's going to be really hard to build something that is supported and unified from the members as a whole. So when we get to that point, please participate. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes?
Yeah, you kind of hit on it, but how soon do you anticipate eliminating the restrictions on to be in the club at the same time?
Yeah, so the restrictions are going down, as we speak, increasing capacity. We took off the social distancing signs off the cardio machines. Now, granted, if a member walks in, they're more than welcome to wear a mask. The staff is still required to wear a mask. But yeah, we're kind of at the point where we're allowing people to use, the staff still follows the same protocols that we've always followed. But in terms of the members, we're allowing them to kind of use their best judgment and following the guidelines that the state of Utah is having us follow. But yeah, the restrictions are going down. When is it? When COVID doesn't exist? When the state of Utah tells us COVID doesn't exist. And COVID is always going to exist, but that's not as much of a risk as it once was. Okay. Mr. Larson.
Is there still an hour limit for workout?
So the hour limit to use the fitness floor is still in place, but that is totally something that we can address and change. Because there's a little bit of a psychological component. Now, for many of you, I see you at the center all the time. And so obviously it's habitual in your life. The issue is we have probably about 2/3 of our membership base that does not utilize the center on a consistent basis. But that's an industry norm. Any commercial facility, like a fitness center, for example, if they had a 10 to 15% utilization rate, they would be overwhelmed, right? But that's kind of what their business model is. They're counting on people not using the facility. That's why you can have, a commercial facility that has 6, 7, 8,000 members, and it's never overwhelmed because they're counting on people not using it. I'm not selling gym memberships. I want our current membership base to utilize and to wear out that puppy as much as we can, because I want to provide an exceptional service to our members. I want that to be a bigger asset than what it currently is. Now, granted, the reservation system question really boils down to when you make an appointment, you're more likely to use it. If we just said, hey, anyone can use the facility at any time, open to close, you can make the argument from a psychological standpoint that it's like, oh, I'll just use it whenever it's convenient for me, and then it's actually utilization numbers go down. So I'm wanting to keep the reservation system for probably the rest of 2021, and then if we see it's a better move to do away with reservations altogether, then that's the step that the Wellness Committee and the board and myself will take. We're still in the trial phase, I guess, is a better way to sum it up. Any other questions? Man, you are too nice. If I didn't know any better, I think my wife is here and she told you all to be nice to me. So, okay. Well, anything else I can answer?
I'll just make a comment.
Yes.
I am grateful that you're here. You're doing a heck of a job. I have seen such wonderful changes in a short period of time. And you're not just talk, your action, and I am thrilled to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I just want to make one last plug, if I may. And that is, and I told this to the previous group, because there's people that talked about that, hey, I go to another spa. I go to another fitness center. I'm going to other things because the current space is not meeting my needs. And I totally get that. I think it's people, they vote with their feet and with their wallets, right? But I'm also going to say that if you want to see something change in terms of a facility enhancement, we have to show that we're utilizing our current space as it is. We're not building our case by going off-site, utilizing other businesses, other services, while also talking out the other side of your mouth and saying, oh, but I also want this, and this, down the road. So if it's something that you want, please participate in upcoming surveys and focus groups. Utilize the check-in system. So when you walk in, use your app, use a card, whatever, to check in. Use the reservation system because we want to show true utilization rates for the next 8 months, at least through the year of 2021, to really have a good snapshot of are the members coming here or are they not, right? And so I appreciate your feedback. My door is always open. I hope that that you know that I'm approachable, that I really want to hear our members out. Every one of you have little nuggets of information that is vital to doing big things here at Entrada. And there's so much talent here. There's so much talent in terms of making these big things happen for people that are willing to give their expertise, their advice, and do it for that many dollars. Imagine how the golf renovation would go without Mr. Banky here. Okay, there's so many things going on where we can have an amazing experience for not only our members but for the visitors that come on site, and to say, wow, this is an incredible community and I want to be a part of it, and how do I get onto that waiting list? So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all that you do, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.